Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight. It's a beautiful night. It's been a long day. It's kind of been a long week already. Juniors, did you enjoy your career day today? Yes. Good, good. We're excited to hear. We're thinking your teachers are going to ask you about it tomorrow from US Lit. So we're excited to hear overall what everyone thought. But we were excited. Hopefully, parents, you know what we're talking about. Hopefully your child shared with you that juniors today had a pretty big day. Career day took place, and each junior was able to go visit 3 different speakers, people from the community in the area, and they were able to choose the speakers that they wanted to go to. And I don't know the percentage, but most students were able to go to presentations that they were really interested in. I think that's true because over and over again from the presenters we heard how attentive the students were, and that they were really, keenly interested. So we hope that was valuable for the students today. We hope that was time well spent. We're all a little tired from it, but we're excited that you're here. So thanks for coming out tonight. A couple little things just to prep you for what we're doing tonight. Counselors work in 3 different domains. If you've been to other programs, you've probably heard me say this every time, but I like to remind people 3 different domains that we work in. Post-high school planning, different careers, different occupations, different college types and different choices. So post-high school planning, academic progress, anything having to do with school. Classes, schedules, how you're doing in your classes, what classes to take, what to do if you're struggling in a class, anything about classes and school. And then the third area is the personal, social, emotional, behavioral kind of domain. Anything that could come up in that area as well. So we work in those 3 broad areas. Tonight we're focusing on just one, and that's post-high school planning. So that's what this evening is all about. And one thing we also like to tell groups before we start talking about this is that when we use the word college, we are referring to all types of colleges. And so, yes, it does refer to 4-year college, but included, it also refers to any community college, including any career programs from 2 months to 2 years in length, and also all of the technical colleges, and certainly the private career schools as well. So when we say college, it is inclusive of all different types, and that's really important for people to be aware of. Okay, I'm just putting up here the guidance office staff, and I guess I haven't introduced any of us yet. I'm Angie Erickson, one of the counselors here, and I work with students with last names Schalze, S-C-H-A-L through Z. Miss Balo, Emma Balo, works with students F-I through L-A. Mike Bartuszczyk works with students A through F-E. And Jack Pauley is our 4th counselor, and he's not able to be here tonight. And he works with Lachey, L-E through Shea. Also through our office is our chemical health specialist, Chris Herdler. We have him only part-time, but he's doing a great job, and we're glad to have him aboard. And Nikki Heckfeld is our social worker. And she is also new to us, but just doing a terrific job. So we're excited about our staff. Cheryl Turek is our guidance office assistant. And she manages, navigates a lot of things all day long, every day. One thing that we've done, this is just sort of a logistical thing, but as part of navigating the students that come in and trying to help them get to the counselor and the person that they need to talk to, we've got a new method this year, and we just want to tell you about it. We're kind of excited about it. When a student comes in, if they're not in immediate crisis, if they are, we're going to hang on to that student and keep them in our area, whether we're busy or not. But if it's not a crisis situation, and we're not immediately available for some reason, we have an orange half sheet. Every student that comes in that isn't able to meet with us right away will have the opportunity to share their name, the date, and in general, which of those domains, those 3 domains, they might be concerned about. And then this is sort of our way to keep track of who's looking for us without making the student come back, without sending them away and saying, well, they're not available, come back another time. This is sort of reassurance to the student that, okay, yep, your counselor knows. And we've found so far, we're getting back to most students within about 24 hours. I think in the past few days when we were doing the final prep for Career Day, I know I wasn't getting back to students in 24 hours. But in general, all fall so far, that's been about how it's going. So is it the same for you guys? Yeah, we're kind of excited about the new method. We think it's probably a lot more satisfactory to the students. I think I'm going to turn it over now. We've got quite a few different things to share with you tonight, and with some of the materials and some of our internet-based resources. The other thing I wanted to mention is that hopefully tonight you will leave reassured and comfortable in the knowledge that, okay, yep, we're kind of doing what we should be doing. We are on that rough timeline. We're not missing something. There's not a mystery activity that, oh no, it's, we forgot to do that. Hopefully this will be very reassuring to you so that you can leave with some confidence. You might have more questions, and certainly, none of us are going to have all the answers, and that isn't the purpose of tonight. Tonight is to help show you the best resources and really help you know kind of where your child is at in this pathway of post-high school planning. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Emma Balow.
All right, well, we are going to get started by just talking briefly about the career planning process, as that is the nature of our presentation tonight. Students, this may be pretty familiar to you from 9th grade, 10th grade doing career inventories, and now you're in the midst of your college and career unit in US Lit. So this might be very familiar to you. But just briefly, we want to go over the career planning process. The first step is to get to know yourself, and we've been doing that by those various inventories that we're having you do to figure out where your interests lie and what careers line up with those interests. So that's the first step. Second step is researching options. What options are available to you with your interests, and what training does the careers that match up with you require? Next, you need to make a choice. Choose between a few different programs of study, or have a few out there that you're thinking about, and then setting goals for how to get to that education setting and become a professional in that career, and making plans to do so. And as you'll notice with the visual on the left-hand side, the arrows are making this a very circular process. We go through this process over and over and over again, especially during our high school years, as we're getting to know ourselves better and better each year. So this is a circular process that students are constantly going through, and are definitely going through right now in their US Lit class. We do want to touch on what are the roles for our parents in the room tonight. In your yellow packet, I believe it's on the second page, we do go into detail about just a few suggestions for parents in supporting your student in their post-high school planning process. So just briefly to go over a few of them. The first one, be persistent but not pushy. If we are constantly questioning our students as to what are you going to be doing after high school, what career are you going to be pursuing, those are some big questions that our students might not feel comfortable answering quite yet. And it might push them away from talking with you about career exploration. It might make them stressed out and feel like they need to have a plan already, just not as ideal. We suggest having more gentle conversations with students, having it come up naturally, talking with your student about basic things like what are your interests, what do you like, what do you not like, and starting your conversations there. That can be the most helpful. Four-year college is not always the answer. Help your student accept and understand that their career plans do not have to consist of going to a four-year college. Many careers out there actually require either some certification or training program after high school or a 2-year degree. So definitely encourage your student to explore other options and the option that would most line up with the career that they're thinking about. Come up with Plan B. Even if a student has a particular career that they're set on, that they're planning on, life is going to happen. Life happens after high school, and things come up, and plans don't always, are not always able to be carried out exactly how a student is envisioning them. So helping your student know that, yes, this might be their plan going forward, but things will and very well could change in various ways for them. Be patient and ready. It's okay if your student is not entirely ready to be totally on board with thinking about what they're doing after high school quite yet, as they are only juniors. So be patient with them and just be ready to have that discussion with them about post-high school planning when they're ready and when they're bringing it up. Career exploration is not a one-time decision. We've talked with the US Lit students, you juniors, recently in a presentation just about careers in general, and we have shared with them that on average, research has shown that adults will change their career 3 to 4 times throughout their working life. That's becoming just very common. Employers, you might change employers 10 times throughout your career. I know in the last presentation, Mr. Bartuszek had parents stand up if you have changed your career at some point during your working life. So stand up if you've changed your career at least once. If you've had one career and then you switch to another one. Ooh. Okay. That was quite a few adults in the room stood up. So students, I hope, again, that is reassuring to you that you'll eventually be choosing a career and choosing a path to get to that career and become a professional in that career. But know that in our ever-changing world and in our ever-changing life and finding different interests, you very well may change your career at some point. It's not something that you have to stick with for 40 years. The next bullet point here, help your teen test drive different careers. We definitely encourage students to spend some time volunteering or job shadowing. We really enjoyed having this career day today to at least give you a little more taste of certain careers out there. But as much as you can, try to get out there and experience what that career would be like. That's the best way to figure out if that might be a good fit for you or not, on top of a lot of research and thought as well. Encourage your teen to learn new skills. Students, that's something we're always encouraging you to do. We definitely encourage you to try different classes, maybe elective classes that you aren't quite sure if that would be of interest to you or if that would be a good fit for you, but it will help you figure out if it is or if it is not. And sometimes it's just as important to find out that something isn't a good fit for you, because that's narrowing one more thing down. Success is measured in many different ways. Just know that we are encouraging you to find some path in life that is going to be meaningful for you in many different ways. I know sometimes students get stuck on like salary of a certain career, but just know that the path to success is not just monetary, but also you finding meaning and purpose in your life, and that is the ultimate goal that we have for you guys. Myths about career-making decisions. Ooh, I gave you the answer there. There is one right job for me. That one is definitely false. There are numerous occupations that your talents may be well-equipped for. So again, even if you choose one career after high school and are pursuing that for a while, there might be another career out there that would also be a really great fit for you. A 4-year college degree guarantees a good paying job. What do we think about that one? Yes, definitely a myth. Through 2020 or 2022, only 21% of current jobs will require a 4-year degree. So it's important to note that many jobs require 1 to 3 years of training, and that might be a community or technical school or a certification program. So again, students, 4-year college might not be the best fit for you depending on what career you're thinking about and what would be a good fit. And I think in this handout as well, on that next page, we've got quite a few more myths and explanations there too to check out. Junior year overview. I'm just gonna get it all up here. All right, the first one we have up here is US Lit. Students, you are obviously in the midst of a college and career unit. US Lit teachers are requiring you to do a lot of career exploration. Counselors will be popping in your US Lit class periodically to do presentations as well on various aspects of post-high school planning. So this month is very intensive for our juniors in thinking about what you're going to be doing after high school. And that career day was a really great opportunity for you today too, and it was really a fun experience for us. Financial aid, we threw this one up there, talking about the free application for federal student aid, the FAFSA. Just to reassure you that the FAFSA is something that you'll complete senior year. Regarding that, there's nothing to do junior year for financial aid, other than your own personal financial planning. A lot of the financial aid things will be coming senior year, so we'll be talking with your seniors about that then. Our guidance office website that we will at the end of this presentation show you has plenty of very useful links and information that we encourage you to check out pertaining to post-high school planning and quite an array of other different topics. Course registration. Coming up in January, we will again be revealing a course registration guide that has descriptions of all the courses we offer, and the first part of the booklet also goes over a lot of great information as well for students and families. That will be coming up in January and will be a great time for you students to meet with your counselor and talk with them about your possible future plans and what classes would be good for senior year to take to help you be best prepared for those plans. The last one up here we have is college representative visits. Juniors, you may have noticed every now and then in the announcements, we'll have an announcement saying a certain college will be coming to the media center at 1 o'clock on Thursday or something like that. Various schools reach out to us and stop by at a scheduled time to meet with our students, either one-on-one or with a small group of students. Students find out about these visits in the announcements and can come to the guidance office to get a pass to leave class to go meet with this college representative. Juniors, you can start thinking about taking advantage of some of these college admission representatives to find out more about different colleges. You can ask general college questions to them as well. So keep an eye on those. Definitely as we move forward into the spring and you're thinking more about some potential colleges you might want to visit, that would be a good time to definitely pay close attention to the announcements and when the representatives will be coming. Again, a little overlap here, but we've got a junior year calendar here. As we are in the fall, it looks like we've already passed that PSAT that I know some of us took, and we're at the junior information night now, and we're working on that college and career planning course unit in US Lit. So fall, we've pretty much got covered. This winter, the first bullet point up here is addressing the ACT that we are starting to hear more and more about as it is coming closer and closer to when you will have an opportunity to take it. We will be presenting to all juniors in US Lit on December 5th, I believe, to go over the ACT in detail. Juniors, we will also, I think later in this presentation, get to talking about the ACT that we will be offering in April. So I think I'll just save that for a moment. And we will also in this presentation go over ACT prep and what students can be doing to prepare for the ACT. Of course, the best way to prepare for the ACT is to kind of a surprise here, I guess, is to work hard in your classes and make sure you're getting the support you need in all of your core classes. That is the best way to prepare for the ACT. You can go above and beyond that and take advantage of various ACT prep materials online and in the counseling office. And we will go over that with our juniors on December 5th. In the spring, a few things we have up here. Students can attend a college fair. We may be offering or busing students to one later in the spring. We have yet to figure that one out, but we do that periodically. Spring is also a time to start thinking about what colleges you might want to visit, either in the spring or over the summer. That's a great time to make some college visits. A really busy time for college campuses for prospective students coming to visit. So sign up for a formal tour of colleges over the summer. You can check out their websites to schedule these visits. We've got a campus visit checklist and college comparison worksheet in the guidance office. And actually, are they in the handout? They're in the handout for you to hold on to and utilize when you are making these college visits. In the spring, we'll also, I alluded to, taking the ACT on April 18th, which is a Tuesday here at the high school. And we are also, the last bullet point there is, we're encouraging students to save all of their materials from US Lit, this entire college and career planning unit. We definitely have seniors this year who are looking back at their materials from that junior year unit. So hold on to those. ACT. The ACT is something that we are going to offer to all of our juniors to take on Tuesday, April 18th. You may have remembered that last year, sophomores. You had a half day, you had the afternoon off, and juniors were taking the ACT in the morning. You maybe were taking an MCA test, I can't remember. This test is no cost to students, so definitely something to consider taking advantage of. It is beneficial for all students to take this exam, even if you are not sure if you're going to be attending college or what type of college you're going to be attending, because it'll be really good feedback for you to discover where you are at on your college and career readiness. So it is definitely beneficial for all students to take it. There's no minimum score required. This isn't something that we are requiring of students. And I think I will pass it off to Mr. Bartuszek.
Thanks, Ms. Balo. As we move along into the college and the College Basics book, there are a few things that I like to point out. When we're in the U.S. Literature and Composition class, we talk to the juniors quite a number of times. It's kind of fun to do that. And a few of the things we bring up to them is the fact that, college is important. There's many different kinds of colleges, and that a few statistics that are out there. If you go into the College Basics, they talk about the types of college. And so, as was mentioned before, the 21% of jobs that are needed for a 4-year, that's not to say that it's not an advantage to have a 4-year degree with the other 79% of the jobs. You might have a better fit or a better way of getting that job, an advantage versus one who doesn't have the 4-year degree. But on the other hand, keep in mind that there are a ton of jobs out there, and we talk about what kind of jobs are out there. Well, the hottest jobs out there are technology and healthcare, and it's unbelievable. There's an unbelievable amount of jobs in technology and healthcare that you can get with a 1, 2, 2.5, 3-year degree. So that's something to keep in mind. A few percentages, 57% of students who start a 4-year degree will finish it within 6 years. That's one of the stats that are out there. So 57% of students will earn a 4-year degree within 6 years. That means that 43% stop trying to earn that or they don't get it. Versus 85% of students who start a technical program will finish it. And so that's something to keep in mind, is that shorter, maybe there's a job at the end, maybe it's cost less money. Those people finish it at a greater percentage than the ones who start a 4-year degree. And it's not, the point is not to, bash a 4-year school or it's not a good idea, because it is a good idea. But I think they get all the publicity, and so to kind of wave the flag for the other schools as well is important. And I guess that's the point of these statistics, is just to let you know that there's a lot of opportunity out there, and it doesn't just have to be at a 4-year college. And that may not be for that person, and so you have to be true to yourself and decide on your own. But on page 3, it does talk about types of colleges, and there's 2-year colleges, and it talks about the different areas you can get involved with, the different jobs that are out there for 2-year college, and it kind of explains it. And we'll be doing that with the students as well. Like I said, that's one of the things we talked to them about. And one of the things that they have done now is with the career day, they found out what careers they wanted to learn about, and then they did that today. But prior to that, they took a huge career interest inventory to kind of summarize if they like to work with their hands, if they like to work with people, all those types of questions, kind of gave them these scores in these different areas to try and say, hey, this job's for you, this job might not be for you. And so as they did that, they came up with a lot of different ideas as to what careers they may enjoy. And so with that, then they found out, okay, if that's the career I want to do, now how do I get there? What college, what education plan do I need to follow to get there? So they found out where they wanted to go, and now we're in the stage after today of finding out, okay, how are we going to get there? And that's where we come in and talk about colleges and how to discover a college and how to find a college that's best for you. And so moving on into page, I think it's like 8, 9, it kind of goes along with the next, slide here of what are you looking for in college? Now, I guess I'm gonna ask the audience, so for anyone who attended a college, 2, 4, 1, whatever, just shout out a reason why you went to the school you did go to. What was the reason you went to that school? Location. Okay, location. Size. Major. Cost. Okay, so those are some great answers, and those are the things that are probably going to keep a student at the school. And what I've learned through the years of talking to kids is that the most popular question I get is, what school is good for this? What school is good for that? And I found that the answer to that question is every school. If they have that program, that's a good school for that program. If you look around the school, there's a poster in the doorway of all the rooms, and that poster says what college the teacher went to. And it's amazing how many different colleges are represented in this building, from St. Olaf to St. Thomas to Mankato State to St. Cloud State to U of M Duluth, U of M Morris, UND, Dickinson, South Dakota State. It's just all the colleges that are around here they're all good schools, but what the important thing is to know is, what is the school that's going to keep you there? What school are you going to go to? And you're going to want to stay there. You're going to be there in year 2, year 3. That's the school you want to pick. So that's one way of looking at it, because that's the best way to do it, is just to say, I'm going to get through that college and I'm going to earn whatever it is I wanted to earn, a 2-year, 3-year, 4-year, whatever it was, but pick the school that you can see yourself there in another year, because it's a good location, the program's going to keep me there, whatever the reason it is, it's more than likely going to be one of these reasons. And that's the most important thing. And so as you sit here as a junior or as a parent of a junior, what can I do to kind of get myself going? Well, there's a whole bunch of ways. Like, we're going to point out the computer program, the MCIS is going to be able to throw colleges at you, be able to look them up. There's going to be college visits, like Ms. Balo mentioned. There's going to be representatives for that college. You're going to come here and explain to you what the college is all about. You're going to have friends that you can ask where they went. With the holidays coming up, all your relatives or whatever college, ask them where they went, get ideas. Maybe if you have a day off or two now, go to a college and walk around it. That's one of the best ways to decide if you want to go to that school, is actually step foot in it, preferably when there's students there, so you get a feel for what the college is. But those are some of the things it's a slow process. It's fall of your junior year, so you have plenty of time to kind of wrap your head around what it is you want to do, or not so much what do you want to do, but what do you want to do towards the college, or where do you see yourself, or what are you going to enjoy. So those are some of the things that you can start doing in kind of a slow progression, like plan a campus visit and all those kind of things. So, and yeah, get out of your comfort zone. If you see yourself, you want to be in a small school, well, maybe if you set yourself into some other place, it's not going to hurt you to walk around it, and you may surprise yourself. You may like it. And so with that, I think we can move. Oh, I have one more thing I forgot. Didn't make the slide, but I just remembered it. The red booklet is the financial aid basics, and as juniors, you're really not looking to apply for financial aid, but it would be nice to wrap your head around the whole idea of it. And this book here has a nice way of kind of explaining what it is, what are some ways to pay for college, or at least baby step towards feeling a little more confident. This is a good resource to just kind of gradually do that. And with that, Ms. Erickson, thanks.
One of the things that, I don't know if we told this to all of the juniors, but the other day we were in their classroom doing something with the career unit, but I do want parents to hear this, and students, if you didn't hear it this week. Two things about your career planning. It's not black and white. It's not a straight line. I think Mike had pointed out on the previous presentation, you don't sit down to dinner and sort of schedule an appointment with your child and, this is the moment now we're going to decide what are you going to do? It's a lot more nuanced. As Emma pointed out with that circle map, there are discussions and rediscussions and thoughts. One of the most important things, before I forget, the second point, I may have forgotten it already. Not a straight line, and then the second point is follow your heart. What are you passionate about? What do you get excited about? What are you gifted for doing? What is your calling? And follow that. Pay attention. Trust your gut. I think that was the point. Follow that instinct. That's going to be really, really important. So we did try, we'd like to impress that on the students. The other thing is, because there's sort of so much to this, it can seem kind of confusing. And so if you want to think about post-high school planning or career planning, college planning, in a couple easy steps, all you're doing is you're trying to get to know yourself, know your options, and make a good fit between who you are and what's out there. And obviously, there's much, much more to all that, but if you're getting overwhelmed, just simplify it, break it down. All you're really doing is learning who you are. What do you like? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses, your aspirations, your potential? What experiences have you had? what do you like? And then know your options. And for knowing the options, there are tons of different ways. It can be overwhelming to get information. We try to share some of the best ways. Today, one of the ways was a live person in an occupation. You won't always get that opportunity, so it's kind of a neat opportunity for the students. But there are many different ways. We're going to show you in just a little bit before we finish up our website that your child has an account for, and that is sort of our gold mine. It's where we want to go to find out about the options, all the different options and all the different, and Mike just touched on financial aid. That's a whole nother part of options. But break it down and remind yourself it's not black and white. There's not necessarily going to be a decision made at a certain point. We have also told the students in doing this unit, genuinely, teachers have seen it, we've seen it, students their junior year, or any year really, but in regards to this, students can get pretty stressed out when we start talking about their future. They can make the assumption or get the impression that they should decide something, that they should know what they want to do. So we try to bend over backwards to make sure to point out this is a time of exploration. You do not have to know what you're doing. You don't have to be confident in what your plans are at all. You just need to be open to learning about yourself and your options. And it really is that simple. We can keep it that simple, so people don't have to, get stressed out about it. And students will be more open and more relaxed, more receptive to information if they're not feeling pressure. That same sort of mindset would go along with any family discussions or parent discussions. And you know this already. Your child is going to be a lot more open and receptive if people are relaxed and there isn't pressure. So just trying to simplify it a little bit because there's so much information that we're wading through. I think I'm going to hop to the page that says tidbits at the top. It could say miscellaneous or odds and ends. These aren't necessarily all related to each other, but we feel like they're important little things to share with you. The one at the top is that our guidance office website will provide continual announcements throughout the year. That is kind of our avenue now to share information is on our website. And everything that, we'll show it to you in just a little bit too, but our news and announcements page, everything that's on there gets submitted for the daily news broadcast. So the students are hearing those announcements. We might run an announcement for about a week, usually not longer than a week, but then we'll leave it sit on the web page for a little bit longer than that. So we do want parents to sort of, and students to kind of just check that out a little bit more periodically. The second bullet point is not related at all, but it's super important, and it says struggling with some concepts in school is not a bad thing. And the reason we're telling you this is that colleges are telling us that many students who are in college now did not anticipate the amount of reading and research required in college settings, post-high school settings. So the colleges are saying, work hard. It's okay if something doesn't come easily to you. I think that's really important in kind of our stressed out world that we're living in, our high achieving world. Or at least, right here, I can speak for right here. A lot of super great work ethic in our students. We also are seeing a pretty big increase in anxiety and stress, and that's not just localized. That's nationwide. So pay attention to keeping balanced and not being overly stressed. It's okay to struggle. It doesn't, you don't have to get an A. So parents, you can repeat that to your child if they need to hear that. I think we kind of all know those things intuitively, but to put that into practice is a little a little more challenging at times. The next little bullet talks about, and this really doesn't affect you until next year, but file completion issues. That just means when students are applying to colleges now, and we've seen this certainly in our office, and you don't apply, by the way, until your senior year. You do not have to do that in July. You do not have to do that in August. Okay, we have people starting to do it super early. You don't have to do it quite that early. So if it gets to be September, October, and you start working on your college applications, colleges are having more trouble than ever getting a complete application. That is, all parts of the application are complete. They have the test scores, they have the fee, they have the application, they have an essay, they have a letter of recommendation, test scores, whatever they need. And the reason for that is technology and all of the different ways of communicating. We have students who do not check their emails because their email boxes are flooded. We have colleges that are trying to text. Well, if you're like most of us, if we get a text, we look at it, we don't have time to respond, and then we might forget about it. So you guys get what I'm saying, I think, but it says students are busier and busier, and institutions are having some trouble getting in touch with the student, and they're trying to use all sorts of mediums, phone, email, etc. So that's just something to be aware of. I think as all of us are navigating the massive increase in technology, we have to get a little bit smarter, I think, collectively at how we use that to best communicate, not just communicate, but to best communicate. Talks about students getting organized. And then this is a good pointer for parents. It says once the application process has begun, again, that senior year, institutions, that is colleges, want the student to call admissions versus the parent. And so one encouragement to you would be don't hesitate to urge and expect your child to have a fully active role in the application process. Honestly, you're not doing them any favors if you complete their application and you go on the websites and you call, because when they get to college, they will not know how to do those things. Now, obviously, like many things, you're in the background and you're overseeing, and sometimes they don't know that you're spying on them. But you can really urge your child to do that so they can gain some confidence. A lot of times I'll have a senior in my office and there'll be a question that we need the answer to, and I'll invite them. I'll say, shall we call the college? And they'll say, yeah. And then I'll dial and I'll say, you want to talk to them? And sometimes they say, yeah. And sometimes they don't. So we go on the speakerphone, and then the student kind of enters into that conversation. And then they're kind of pumped up after that because we get information and they did it. You know, they were talking to that person. And I think you can read the rest of those on your own. What time is it, folks? Can someone? 7:30. Thank you. All right. That's a good helper back there. All right. I think the slide already went forward, and we're looking at preparing for life after high school. This coincides with the back side of what we were just on. Tidbits. And you guys can read. I don't think I'm going to put you through me kind of going through all of that. You can see the bold points there. You know, kind of some things that we've already mentioned tonight. Talk with your child, learn. Students are encouraged to learn and work hard in school, participate, plan, researching. And then the choosing a college part, we're actually going to just show you a little blurb on that on the internet. But you can see the bottom half of that page under choosing a college, the 5 bold points kind of are pretty, you know, that's a pretty good summary to follow. If you're trying to pick out a school to explore, again, not one that you have to decide on or know about, but as just part of learning about your options. If you want to look into that, those 5 bullet points are just perfect. Identify the important factors. And that was a sheet, I think, that we already looked at. What are you looking for in a school? There's a whole list of things there. And you can use that list to kind of generate your own ideas of what you're looking for in a school, the important factors. Think about your reasons for going. List, compare, and visit colleges. We'll show you this MCIS site in just a second that really helps with all that. And then questions to ask on a campus visit. That's the very next page. Tons of ideas right there of things that you could inquire about when you're visiting a campus. We always tell the seniors in the fall, because many of them have not decided quite yet what they're doing, so we meet with them in the fall, and we'll tell them the campus visit is probably going to be the single most helpful activity that you do to get to that final decision. It really helps students. They've done a ton of work and learned about stuff, but getting on that campus, there's no way to replace that experience. Doesn't matter what type of college it is. Making a campus visit where you learn about the program that you're interested in, get on the campus, get the flavor for it. That's really kind of the factor that helps the most. And it doesn't mean that the student always decides, yeah, that's the place for me. You know, we'll have seniors come back and say, yeah, I figured out I really don't want to go there. So it's extremely beneficial to get on that campus visit. You don't have to do that right now. Okay, I think we had that on our timeline for probably the earliest we typically see students do that is kind of spring of the junior year. Lots of visits in the summer. You can do it whenever you want, whenever you feel like it. There's no rules, but you're not behind if you don't do that until maybe the summertime. And then making final decisions, of course. Okay. I think we were going to show you this, but to be honest, I don't know that we need to. This just kind of reiterates those 5 bullet points that we just went over. There's a spot on the internet. We have a link to it on our site that reiterates that for you, but I don't think we need to belabor that tonight. Right behind the campus visit checklist, on the very back of the packet, is a campus college comparison worksheet. I see students use this all the time. I'm always excited to share it with them. It's divided up into 3 columns because you would sort of put in maybe 1 or 2 or 3 or more schools that you're interested in. And then it's, you know, we see students put little notes on there at times, and they're really trying to compare, you know, this factor at this school, that factor at a different school, kind of pluses and minuses, little notes in there. You can use it however you want, but it's a pretty good overview of the different factors that need to be considered when you're looking at different institutions. My helper out there, what time is it now? Okay. 7:35? Okay. You should have your parent get you a Dairy Queen Blizzard tonight for participating like that. Okay. All right, we're just going to briefly show you the website. On our counseling office website, it's off of the main high school. You can just click on the Parents tab, and then at the bottom there's just a direct link to our site. You've probably heard us say it if you were at sophomore night. We try to put a quality of sites on there, not just a quantity. So everything that's on there we've looked at, we've reviewed it, we like it, and we want to share it with you, but hopefully it's not overwhelming. All the gray rectangles on the left-hand side show our different topics, obviously. The first page, our news and announcements page, is what I was talking about before. This is where we're going to get the word out about any manner of thing to be announced from our office is going to show up in this area. So it's a pretty good mishmash. And at the bottom, there's actually some really good articles. They're way down at the bottom. Yeah, current articles, must reads. So soft skills, top 8 reasons why teens try alcohol and drugs, private colleges, Silicon Valley suicide prevention, opioid, now this is part of the other stuff that we do, the other domain, but super interesting stuff in there and quite a variety of stuff from our 3 domains. I think we'll just show you we'll go down to one of the tabs. We've got career exploration, chemical health, college admission representatives. You know what, let's click on that one maybe, the college admission representatives, because that is a super appropriate activity for you as a junior. We'll announce through our website and the student announcements, like it says November 2nd, St. Catherine University St. Kate's was here at 9 o'clock. So you just come in the guidance office, you ask for a pass, we give you a pass, you show it to your teacher, you go to the Upper Media Center, the Career Center, and there's a rep from St. Kate's at 9 o'clock on November 2nd. That already happened. But you just sit down with that person. It's like a campus visit, but not really. They come to you, and you can ask them anything. They want to get to know you and tell you a little bit about their school. So it's a super convenient way to learn firsthand about the different colleges that are out there. So we have that on there for you all the time. And then we've got crisis resources, family supports, mental health, a lot of stuff under those categories. And then post-high school planning. And a couple different topics there. Everything about the ACT, if you want to read all about that. We're going to tell the students all about that in about 3 weeks here. Yeah, there's some other stuff on there. Other parts underneath that, colleges and universities, college and the schools, funding your education. If you want to hop on there and do a family, or rather a FAFSA forecaster, or an estimate of what you may qualify for financial aid, we've got links to the best sites, you know, the federal government sites, to do those sorts of things. So poke around in there, just see if there's something helpful to you. And I think just to show you the MCIS now, we're going to go back to career exploration. And about halfway down, you'll see Minnesota Career Information System. This is our gold mine. We just want you to see it. Students are using it. They have an account for it. It's password protected. It's a consortium of about 22 states. It's updated every year in the fall. So it's super accurate and broad-based. The password is NewPrag with no space, lowercase, or rather the username is NewPrag, and the password is student. They don't let us print that on the site or anything, but obviously we want you to know that. So then you're in, and we'll just show you a couple of things real quick. If Mike goes on occupations, and then just goes down to occupation, this is where I go. If I want to, you know, a student asks me something, I don't know things. They think I do, but I don't, and I don't have things memorized. In fact, I can't remember very much anymore. But this is where I would go to help a student, and we'll just poke around in there. We'll start reading. So if he clicks on an occupation, I can't really read that from here, but whatever it is, if he clicks on it, accountant, on the left-hand side, you've got all your topics. The one topic that he's on right now is just at a glance. So it's a very brief, you know, just a quick synopsis of the occupation. There's a video that you could watch about it. He was just hovering over some of those topics. He clicked into employment and outlook, how many people are in that job, and do they need more people? Is there high demand, low demand, average demand? And it's even broken down into the regions of Minnesota, so it's kind of nifty. The preparation, I go to that all the time with students, and that's really interesting, because again, on this little spot more than ever, you start to see that there's not, when I said before, there's not always a black and white, you know, straight line path. One of the interesting features on this, if you scroll down just a little bit, I don't know if it'll be on this one, it isn't. On some of them, they don't have it on every occupation, but they'll have a little chart under preparation, and it'll tell you the percentage of people in that occupation who got a high school degree only, a 2-year degree only, some college, but no degree, 4-year or more. And when you start looking at those percentages, you really can see, well, oh, okay, the vast majority of people got their 4-year degree in this. Okay, but 20% of the people had a 2-year degree in this. So maybe I could enter that way, and then so it gets the wheels turning, and kind of seeing the different pathways really. Some are pretty, some are going to be black and white, that you can't do this job unless you have this. But a lot have a little bit of leeway. So you can, this is where I go to learn about all the occupations. If we go back now and just go up to the education tab, and if we go to, U.S. colleges and universities, it's going to be the same format. It's going to be all of the United States, and the different types of schools. And you can go by state if he goes into any state and clicks on a college, or rather, clicks on a college. Let's see what he picks here. What time is it, helper? Ooh, okay. Boy, I can talk for a long time. St. Cloud State University. Again, you've got all your topics. You can look at the admissions requirements. Whatever is required to get in to that school. You can learn about the population of the school, and of course, the different programs that they offer. And then let's just show them the school sort real quick, and then we'll turn you guys loose. School sort is useful for when you want to know, where can I go to be an accountant? Who has a nursing program? Where can I study to be an electrician? And so you just click into it, undergraduate schools. I usually just use 3 categories. I'll put in either the associate or the bachelor's degree. So he's going to put in a 4-year degree, and then we'll put in the location. You could do any combination of states that you wanted to, or regions. So he put in a 4-year degree in Minnesota and North Dakota, and then I like to click on the academics. What do I want to study there? What program am I looking for? You can do it by major clusters or individual majors. He's hovering over something, I don't know what that said. Biomedical sciences. And then he's going to click on Get My Results. Here are all the schools that offer a 4-year degree in Minnesota in biomedical sciences. And then if he wants to, he could click on University of Minnesota Duluth, his alma mater, and he could then be back into the site learning about the school. So it's all connected, super easy to use. Did I pump you up about MCIS? Wow, that's really resounding endorsement there. Hey, we are super excited that you guys came tonight. There's a lot of you here, so that makes us really happy. We hope that this information was valuable, and we just encourage you at any time to get in touch with us. We'll help you out with anything that we can. So thanks for coming tonight, and have a good evening.